Alright guys, so part 2, because apparently I can only make like 20-minute videos. So we're still on problem 11. Okay, let me finish this one up with you. Almost done, just a few more. Try to talk faster. So for problem 11, I already made the triangle. The angle that's given, that acute angle, 72. So here's my opposite, here's my adjacent, here's my hypotenuse. So I'm going to set up one trig ratio opposite hypotenuse. That's going to be sine opposite hypotenuse. So sine of 72 equals the opposite over hypotenuse, n over 50. And then I have to set up another one for m, hypotenuse and adjacent. Hypotenuse and adjacent is a cosine. So cosine of the angle, cosine 72, equals adjacent m over hypotenuse 50. Okay, for both of these, it's just a one-step process to isolate the variable. Multiply both sides by 50 on both of them. So times 50 times 50. The 50's cancel. So n is equal to 50 times sine 72. And m is equal to 50 times cosine 72. Again, to save time, I'm not going to show you me typing that into the calculator. I think you guys can figure that out at this point. I'll just make sure you get the right answers. So type that into your calculator. Make sure you get n is approximately 47.6. And for m, type that into your calculator. Make sure you get approximately 15.5. Okay. Problem number 13. All right, so for problem 13, here's my right triangle, A, 65, 28, and B. The acute angle is at 65, so label the sides of your triangle. Hypotenuse is always across from the right angle. Opposite is across from 65. Adjacent is next to 65. I want to solve for the adjacent. I know the hypotenuse, or excuse me. I want to solve for the adjacent. I know the opposite, that's tan. So tan 65 is equal to opposite over adjacent, 28 over A. All right, then I'm going to set up another one to solve for the hypotenuse. I know the opposite. So hypotenuse and opposite is sine. So sine of 65 is equal to 28 over B. For both of these, since the variable's in the bottom, it is going to be a two-step process. So I'll take it one step at a time. Multiply both sides by A. So now I have A times tan of 65 is equal to 28. Then I'm going to divide both sides by tan 65. So you're going to have A is equal to 28 divided by tan 65. You'll plug that into your calculator. I've showed you a few times already how to do that, so I'm just going to give you the answer at this point. A is approximately 13.1. Over here as well, two steps. Multiply by the denominator. You always multiply by whatever's in the denominator. So you have B times sine 65 is equal to 28. Divide both sides by sine 65. So you have B is equal to 28 divided by sine 65. Plug that into your calculator and you get that B is approximately 30.9. Okay. All right, guys, so we just have 2-3 more little problems to do. Okay, so we're going to talk about angle of elevation, depression for just a minute. When I talk about angle of elevation, I want you to think about looking up at an object. And then angle of depression is looking down at an object. Okay, so envision that you're standing on the ground and you're looking up into the air at an airplane. Okay, so when you're standing at the ground and you look straight out, imagine there's like a laser beam coming out of your eyeballs that is a horizontal, your normal line of vision. And then when you look up, okay, your eyesight goes up, that angle that's formed between the normal horizontal of where your eyes normally look and now looking up at the object, up at the, I think I said the airplane in the sky, that angle that's formed is called the angle of elevation. And then envision that you're standing like on a mountain. And when you look out, right, you're up real high in the sky, and you look out, that's your normal line of vision. And then you look down at an object. Maybe you see like a, I don't know, like a boat in the ocean, okay? And you look down at an object. That angle that's formed between your normal line of vision and now looking down at the object, that's your angle of depression, okay? So for problem 14, the diagram is already drawn for you. It says a surveyor is standing 30 feet from the base of a tall building. The surveyor measures that the angle of elevation from the ground to the top of the building is 65 degrees. Find the height of the building to the nearest foot. So the diagrams are not always going to be drawn for you. Okay, this one is, but if it wasn't, I think to myself, all right, here's my building with some windows and a door and all, okay? And then it says the surveyor is standing 30 feet away from the base. So this person is standing over here, 30 feet away. And the measure of angle, or excuse me, the angle of elevation that they measure to the top of the building, that angle is given as 65. They want to know what is the height of the building. So they want to know this side. Well, we have a right triangle formed where we're trying to solve for the opposite side, and we know the adjacent side. So opposite and adjacent is going to be tan. Tan is 65 is equal to h over 30. Okay, we've done a bunch of these problems now. You're going to multiply both sides by 30 to get h is equal to 30 times tan 65. You're going to plug that into your calculator and find that h is approximately 64 feet. The directions say to round to the nearest foot, so no decimals, round to the nearest foot, 64 feet. Okay, last page. So the next problem, actually problems 15 and 16, show them to you real fast. It just says, write the expression in terms of sine or cosine. Okay, and we talked about this yesterday in the notes. So if you have cosine 15, that's going to be the same thing as sine 75. Okay, the two angles have to add up to 90. And I know the video yesterday didn't work for some of you, but if it did, you can go back and relook at that lesson if you're confused about that. So for this one, sine 22, well, it's going to be equal to cosine of whatever angle adds up to 90 with 22. So cosine 68, okay? All right. Actually, I'm not going to do the last word problem with you guys because I want you guys to try one on your own. I didn't realize it was just the 2 in this review packet. So I'm going to leave 17 for you guys to try on your own, okay? So again, work on all the problems in the review packet that we didn't do together. Check your answers against my answer key and then do whatever assignment I link to your textbook, whatever assignment I put in there. All right, guys. Thanks. See ya.